Hello, my friends. It's great to see you again. My name is Chloe, and this is your cosmic energy forecast for the collective Libra season 2024, also known as the Eclipse portal, also known as the autumn equinox. Ugh, it has been an intense time, am I right? I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of the collective astrology, so this might be one of those videos that runs a little bit longer. I've been really conscious about keeping the horoscopes shorter so that they are digestible and so that I could serve, more people that way. Um, because, it's challenging sometimes to keep people's attention, right? Which is fair, which is fair. What's that? Yes. So the deck that I'm using for the tarot portion of the reading is the Pulp Girls, which is a stunning like Libran deck. I would say very Venusian, a very like retro, like comic book style. It's absolutely beautiful. Let me pull up the chart for Libra season here so we can talk a little bit about the astrology. And yeah, we're going to be sharing about the common themes. Um, if you would like a more personalized rising sign forecast, those are available on my channel now as well. Those are all ready for you. They're like around 5 minutes. So definitely I encourage you, if you enjoy this content, to check out your own personal rising sign horoscope. And if you want to work closer with me, I am going to be hosting a dark moon circle on October 1st. So I would love to have you. We're going to be celebrating slash savoring this beautiful liminal time that we're in as we go further into the darker time of the year. So excited for that. The dark moon is absolutely my favorite dark moon phase. um okay, so common themes that we're getting for Libra season in this like super liminal time are some of us are feeling a little bit disconnected from our spiritual practice, being invited in to some of us are like forming new beliefs and new values around spirituality, and some of us are more focused on releasing harmful, outdated beliefs, that kind of thing. So there's definitely like that energy of like beginning and ending. So a lot of shifting, a lot of growth is happening and evolution in the realm of spirituality, which I mean, of course, is always welcome. So some of us will notice more so old beliefs being completely energetically deflated, like they just drop off. That timeline no longer exists. I'm on to the new way. And some people will notice more like, I'm embracing new interests, I'm embracing new ideas, like this provocative thought or this progressive thought. This is calling me now. So some of us are beginning, some of us are ending, but yeah, very much the vibe of upgrades in spirituality, upgrades in beliefs. So that is exciting. um a lot of the cards I pulled too were like beginnings and endings, which I mean totally makes sense. We're coming into the dark time of the year. There's all this like, summertime energy that we want to leave behind, like coming more into like the lunar time, leaving behind the solar time. Like it is all good. But yeah, just keeping in mind like Virgo season is amazing for what it is and how we are all called to like shed and release so much. And then beginning with Libra again as like, the cardinal air sign, the season of wind and air, and like yeah, beginning again with a new initiatory energy. Um, but at the same time, like as humans, we've said like, okay, this is Virgo season and this is Libra season, and it's like the 20th of the 20th or whatever it is. Like we're so funny like that, how we like to compartmentalize. And I mean, I love it. I really do. Um, but we don't truly have like this fast and dry. Like we absolutely have seasons flowing into the next. So many of us are still feeling, the Virgo energy from last week, and some of us are already feeling the pull into Scorpio. That will begin like in 3 weeks, something like that, right? So we can talk about where like most of us are at, or like how it is like mathematically, but the reality is, some of us are beginning, some of us are ending, some of us are doing like a little bit of both as well. Um, yeah, a big theme that came up too in all the rising sign forecast readings was rejection. And it seemed to be like in a lot of cases that people were taking things personally that maybe they didn't need to take so personally. So, like, we're all sensitive, we all want to be accepted and loved and recognized, and there's nothing wrong with us, but like, we all have our own shit too. So, there is like, continuously examples were coming up, spirit was bringing to me about like you're feeling rejected, and yes you are, and that's valid. You can feel how you feel, like that's your truth, but the intentions on the other side were not to make you feel rejected. It's just like that person has other things going on and they're not thinking about your experience. Like we all have a responsibility to manage our own expectations, manage our own emotions, and like manage our own reactions. But like, yeah, it's also like we should be acting right. Like there's that too, right? So it's nuance. There's a lot of gray area, which I love. I love nuance. Um, so, I mean, even if they did mean to reject you, like what does that mean, right? Are you like gonna give up and not continue forward and like, find more aligned people, or like, better friends or whatever? Like, when people show you who they are, believe them, right? Like it's not what they say, it's how they do and how they be, and people show us how they are. Um, so again, like the nuance, that doesn't mean it doesn't we don't want to be accepted by them even though they hurt us, and that doesn't mean we don't want to be like loved and acknowledged and all those things, but yeah, we're not going to be for everyone. Not everyone is going to have like a resonance with us, nor will we resonate with them. So like when we outgrow relationships, or people, even like people outgrow us, we outgrow them, just like kind of accepting that for what it is and not taking so much personal like blame for like, I fucked up and now they rejected me and I have to win them back. It's just like, just be with what is, and understand that like maybe it's time for that, like, that relationship to transition or whatever. And that they didn't mean to hurt you. You're taking it too personally. And or even if they did, um, what are we going to make of that? How are we going to move forward? And I'm not going out there saying like, anyone you've had like a slight falling out with or altercation with means you cut them off. Like that's not what I'm saying. um but just, yeah, like taking it for what it is, trusting your intuition, tuning into the situation and seeing like, okay, am I going to, rebuild with this person? We're going to see them again, we're going to reconnect. Or is it more so like I'm just going to let that relationship, drop off a bit because I can no longer tolerate like how often they betray me and like don't respect my time, and all the ways that we might feel rejected. So that's the fun thing about doing the collective energy forecast. Is like here's the vibe, and like for some of you it's going like this and for some of you it's going like that. So at the end of the day, with every forecast, it's always yeah, imperative. I encourage you to really just, focus on what resonates, take what resonates, because it's like not everything I say is going to have to apply to you. While at the same time trusting that if you are called to tune into this video, there will be something that provides you with guidance and support. And I truly believe that. Um, Okay, so yeah, more deaths, more rebirths, more endings, more beginnings. Like what a wacky, wacky time we're in, right? So many fool cards and so many death cards. It's like like all the aces and tens that we pulled at the full moon forecast on the when the eclipse portal opened at the Pisces full moon last week. It was just, and then I mean that really speaks to the eclipse energy that we're in, regardless of like Libra and autumn equinox. We have to think about like, okay, I'm in eclipse right now. This is a very, very powerful portal, a very, very powerful portal, power portal. Woo! Okay. So, another major theme that was coming up in the rising sign readings was the new opportunities, new invitations to live in alignment with the values that you have recently curated, that you are developing, your new way of being that you're calling in, new values, better beliefs, upgraded, merging with your higher self, and um, being put on the spot and like activated into, seeing where you really stand, seeing what you really care about, what you really feel about, what's in your heart, what's on your mind, right? It's a lot. It's definitely a lot, but it's a power portal. So don't set any specific intentions for the eclipse, right? That's not what this is about. We want to be really aware that rituals and specific intentions can go sideways. So, as always with the eclipse, we need to just observe and be curious and neutral and see what is the universe presenting me with over and over and over again. What is it that I am called to pay attention to? And then is there action that needs taking? And then slowly, cautiously, making those changes, perhaps after the lunar cycle has ended. If you can wait another lunar cycle, that's not a bad idea. Some things can't wait. We got to live our lives, but the point is you don't rush into it. Observe, remain neutral, remain curious, and then decide what actions, earth realm, tangible steps can I take to make these changes, to go in this direction. If I am truly on a soul level, being called, being guided by spirit to do that. And ideally taking, 2 to 4 weeks to observe and process and integrate before making major changes. In the eclipse portal, time slows down, time speeds up. So some things are just like a flash in the pan. Some things come and then they last forever. It's like very wild and unpredictable energy. It's like, I don't know, I love it though. It's super like Plutonian, I find, and I'm a very yeah, I am a very Plutonian person. So just going back to our chart here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So, like I was saying, in the full moon forecast, the most prominent astrological aspect or energy that we're all living with at this time is this grand Earth trine between Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn, Uranus at 27 degrees Taurus, and the sun at 29 degrees Virgo, or by the time this is being published, 0 degrees Libra. So it's out of sign, but I don't care. And like the moon will be at 0 degrees Gemini as well. So they're still within 0 degrees and 29 degrees is like literally 1 degree apart. So it's like it's a super tight conjunction. We don't need to like worry too much that it's like out of sign or whatever. Definitely a little bit of concern around the Venus Pluto square. Venus, of course, at 29 degrees Libra in a square with 29 degrees Pluto. So that is not necessarily like super awesome when it comes to women and like feminine people. Anyone who's like not the like traditional male, masculine, so like feminine, non-binary women, gay people, trans people, anyone who's like not, you don't have to be like fully in the margin, but like anyone who's just not like the typical like man or whatever, who the society is like set up for. Um, yeah, so I mean, this like pursuit of justice, again, a lot of crazy stories on the news coming to light. A lot of trauma in the collective is being exposed, and these things are not new. They're just like new to our awareness, right? So they're coming up so they can be healed, so we can deal with them. And of course, that's yeah, that's going to be a good thing. Absolutely. There's also like a positive aspect between Mars and Saturn. Those energies aren't necessarily super similar, but when you have them in a trine like that, Pisces, Saturn at 14 degrees, Mars, Cancer at 10 degrees, that is probably going to give us like, some stamina, it like in a good way, right? So that's something to look forward to for sure. Yeah, a lot of channeling, a lot of downloads coming in. I can see the Uranus moon conjunction as well too. Um, yeah, we have Lilith conjunct the South Node in Libra. That's opposing, of course, the North Node in Aries. So we still have this like, and like this tension between masculine and feminine, tension between the self and the other, um, the energy that's coming in and the energy is going out. It's like creating this sort of tension. And like that's such a prevalent theme for this era that we live in, right? Like it's like I could look at this month's chart, but like, I don't know. It's like seems to be kind of ongoing, not gonna lie. Um, yeah, and like on the world stage, there's just so many active movements and potential for changes and new directions that we might be embracing. So I remain optimistic still. Like if we get more bad news, like whether or not we were hearing about it, it was still happening. So it's better that we hear about it so that we can process it on a collective level and we can, stand up together if that's what we want to do and like find our allies and the people that we want to build coalition with and the people that we want to yeah, collaborate with and cooperate with going forward into this new paradigm, right? So I'm just going to pull a few cards here to see if there's any like super practical guidance that Spirit wants to give us. But yeah, we have a lot of duality coming up for sure. It's like looks super intense. And yeah, that Earth trine, man, like that's all like in the practical realm in the 3D. So people getting divine insights, people getting downloads. That's so true. Like that, subconscious, unconscious bridge, or like that channel down from the divine, inspiring us. Yes, but so many changes and so much transformation when it comes to reality as we know it and like life on Earth, right? So I don't know. We have to like do our best to embrace what it is we know and decide like, are we going to act right or are we going to like ignore, ignore. Okay. Yeah, so it's about riding the emotional waves, right? Not letting them rock us, but really having that flexibility, having the flexibility to go with it. Because if we're going to be too rigid, it's not going to work and we're going to get hurt. So having what is it like suspending belief, what's the expression? Everything we thought we knew is like it's not. It's just not. So like we would be like brace yourself for these times, but it's the opposite. Like brace yourself in like an intellectual way where like your mind's going to be blown, but then yeah, like allow your mind to be blown and trust what it is that you're seeing, what it is that um and watch your words too. There can be a lot of like fighting words with Libra season and like this like divine warrior and this pursuit of justice. um Especially when it comes to like things that have been unequal for a long time. People can get like really passionate, really, really aggressive and oh, excuse me. And that's not bad, but thinking about like, how we're building coalition, how we're building community, how we're like moving in this more like cooperative way of being. Um, yeah, just being mindful of your words, being careful of the language that you're using, because people like we have more in common than not, right? So like what comes up for me, like what spirit's telling me is not to focus on the differences. It's going to be more supportive for us as we enter this new era, while still in this era and having to deal with all this shit. As we enter this new era and we're like building the new world, finding that commonality with people who like maybe see things slightly differently. Um, so like I'm just gonna like let that soak in because I very much need to be reminded of this message. Often we can't get like hung up on certain details and like identity politics and stuff like that. Like we have to focus on what we have in common, which is, everyone deserves um, to have a fulfilling life. Everyone deserves to live in harmony to an extent with their own values and with their own beliefs. And certain things that are like human rights, like, access to housing, like access to clean drinking water, right? Like we can all agree that people, animals should have access to this, and that we don't just like continue to extract from people, extract from the environment, extract from animals. Um, Thinking about like how much that they do for us, how much does the earth do for us? Right? How much does our people do for us, right? There's a lot of give and take, and sometimes it's like, it's more take. Um, so we are going forward into the future. It's happening. There's no need to hold on to the past because that's not going to help us. Let go what wants to be let go. Said every message ever, right? And be prepared to ride the wave. So it's like I keep wanting to say brace yourself, but it's the opposite. It's going to be like allowing yourself to go with the flow and allow yourself to change and allow yourself to grow and embrace yeah, just like embrace the new you and understand that people are going to have different ways of explaining things. People will have yeah, different values and beliefs, but we still as people here on earth now, in this time, in this place, watching this video or not, like we all have so much more in common, like so many more commonalities than we do differences. So that's like the vision we're going to have to hold because it's going to get pretty crazy. Okay. So I think I'm gonna leave it there. I've very much been trying to, like I said, have the videos, shorter, more accessible, for people to consume. And yeah, with the collective energy forecast, it's always going to be a little bit longer, um, than the rising sign horoscopes because I do yeah, tune into more energy cards for the collective, astrology for the collective, but then I also recap the information, the wisdom that was coming up through the rising sign horoscopes and really synthesize that for us. So if you are still here, thank you so much for watching. I definitely appreciate you. It's still a newer channel for me. I'm a few months in now, so I am you know, starting to get a little bit more comfortable with doing the videos. But yeah, it's like the desire to serve has become greater than the fear of being seen or the fear of being perceived. So yeah, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in